welcome back to Virtual Story Time.
This week we are talking about something delicious. I know I certainly like them. What are your thoughts on pancakes?
Pancakes, they are delicious. I do love pancakes. Do you like pancakes? If you aren't in the mood for pancakes, you will be by the time we're done with story time today. So sit back, enjoy, and we will see you after our puppet show.
On the flip side, I'm going to read you one of our favorite stories, If You Give a Pig a Pancake. Let's find out what happens. If you give a pig a pancake, she'll want some syrup to go with it, of course. You'll give her some of your favorite maple syrup. Yum. She'll probably get all sticky, so she'll want to take a bath. Of course. She'll ask you for some bubbles. Do you like bubbles in the bath? When you give her the bubbles, she'll probably ask you for a toy. You'll have to find your rubber duck. What's a duck say? Does a duck say quack, quack? The duck will remind her of the farm where she was born. She might feel homesick and want to visit her family. She'll want you to come too. She'll look through your closet for a suitcase. Then she'll look under your bed. When she's under the bed, she'll find your old tap shoes. She'll try them on. She'll probably need something special to wear with them. When she's all dressed, she'll ask for some music. You'll play your very best piano piece, and she'll start dancing. Look at that. She looks like a good dancer. Then she'll ask you to take her picture. So you'll have to get your camera. When she sees the picture, she'll ask you to take more. And then she'll want to send one to each of her friends. I bet that pig has a lot of friends. So you'll have to get her some envelopes and stamps and take her to the mailbox. On the way, she'll see the tree in your backyard. She'll want to build a tree house. This is a busy pig. So you'll have to get her some wood, a hammer, and some nails. When the tree house is finished, she'll want to decorate it. She'll ask you for wallpaper and glue. When she hangs the wallpaper, she'll get all sticky. Feeling sticky will remind her of your favorite maple syrup. She'll probably ask you for some. What do you think is going to happen then? And chances are, if she asks you for some syrup, she'll want a pancake to go with it. The end.
And I'm going to read you a story by one of our favorites, Eric Carle, called Pancakes, Pancakes. Let's find out how to make pancakes. Ooh, it looks like we're opening up with a rooster. What does a rooster say? They go, cock-a-doodle-doo, crowed the rooster. Jack woke up, looked out the window, and thought, I'd love to have a big pancake for breakfast. Jack's mother was already up and busy. Moms are always up early and very busy. Mother, Jack said, I'd like to have a big pancake for breakfast. I am busy and you will have to help me, she said. How can I help? Asked Jack. We'll need some flour, she replied. And it looks like Jack has a pet kitty cat. What does a cat say? Meow. Take a sickle and cut as much wheat as the donkey can carry. Then take it to the mill. The miller will grind it into flour. When Jack had cut enough wheat, he put it on the donkey's back and took it to the miller. What does the donkey say? They go, hee-haw. Can you grind this wheat for me? He asked. I need it for a big pancake. First, we must separate the grain from the chaff, said the miller. He gave Jack a flail and spread the wheat onto the ground. The miller took another flail and began to beat the wheat with it. Jack helped with the threshing, and soon there was a big pile of straw and chaff, and a small pile of grain. The miller poured the grain on a large flat stone. On top of it was a round millstone connected to the water wheel on the outside. The water wheel turned round and round, turning the millstone round and round too, to grind the grain into flour. At last, the miller handed Jack a bag of flour. "Here's the flour," shouted Jack. "Let's make a pancake." But his mother said, "Now we need an egg." Jack went to the black hen and fed her some grain that had slipped into his pocket while he had been threshing. "Cluck, cluck," said the black hen, and went inside the hen house. Then she said, "Cluck, cluck," once more, and laid an egg. "Here's an egg," shouted Jack. "Let's make a pancake." But his mother said, "Now we need some milk." Jack went to the spotted cow and began to milk her. What do you think the cow says? She goes, "Moo, moo," said the spotted cow as the milk squirted into the pail. "Here's the milk," shouted Jack. "Let's make a pancake." But his mother said, "We need some butter." So Jack got out the butter churn and held it between his knees. His mother scooped the cream from the top of the milk and put it into the butter churn. Jack pushed the handle up and down, up and down. Finally, the cream turned to butter. "Here's the butter," shouted Jack. "Let's make a pancake." But his mother said, "We need to build a fire." Jack went to the woodshed and brought some firewood. It's a lot of steps to make a pancake, right? "Here's the firewood," shouted Jack. "Let's make a pancake." But his mother said, "Wouldn't you like to have something sweet on your pancake?" So Jack went down to the cool cellar and pulled a jar of strawberry jam from one of the shelves. "Here's the strawberry jam," shouted Jack. "Let's make a pancake." In the kitchen, Jack's mother had filled the table with the flour, the egg, the milk, the butter. There was also a mixing bowl, a cup, a wooden spoon, a ladle, a frying pan, a plate, a knife, fork, and spoon, and a jar of strawberry jam. It's a lot of things to make one pancake. And his mother said, "Put a cupful of flour into the bowl, break an egg into the flour, and stir. Pour a cupful of milk over the flour and eggs and stir again until the batter is smooth and without lumps." Jack's mother heated the frying pan over the fire and added a piece of butter. The butter melted fast. Then she said to Jack, "Now pour a ladleful of batter into the hot pan." After a minute or two, she looked at the underside of the pancake. It was golden brown. "Now watch," she said. "I'll turn the pancake over. Ready?" "Ready," shouted Jack. "Flip," said his mother. Up and over went the pancake high into the air and landed right in the pan. In another minute or two, the pancake was crisp on the underside as well. Then she slipped the pancake from the frying pan onto the plate and spread some strawberry jam on it. "And now, Jack," his mother started to say, but Jack said, "Oh, Mama, I know what to do now. Eating it is the easy part." The end. All right, so we're talking about pancakes this week, which means, of course, we have to do one of our favorites, Flip Flap Jack. So the story of Flip Flap Jack is, there was a man made of food.
Made of food?
Made of food. There was a man made of food, and his name was Flip Flap Jack. And his head was a pancake.
A pancake?
A pancake. His head was a pancake, and his name was Flip Flap Jack. And his eyes were made of blueberries.
Of blueberries?
Of blueberries. His eyes were made of blueberries, and his name was Flip Flap Jack. And his nose was a strawberry.
A strawberry?
A strawberry. His nose was a strawberry, and his name was Flip Flap Jack. And his mouth was a sausage.
A sausage?
A sausage. His mouth was a sausage, and his name was Flip Flap Jack. And his hair was made of whipped cream.
Whipped cream.
Whipped cream. His hair was made of whipped cream, and his name was Flip Flap Jack. And his ears were made of oranges.
Oranges?
Oranges. His ears were made of oranges, and his name was Flip Flap Jack. And his body was a waffle.
A waffle?
A waffle. His body was a waffle, and his name was Flip Flap Jack. And his arms were made of bananas.
Bananas?
Bananas. His arms were made of bananas, and his name was Flip Flap Jack. And his legs were made of bacon.
Bacon.
Of bacon. His legs were made of bacon, and his name was Flip Flap Jack. And his feet were made of French toast.
French toast?
French toast. His feet were made of French toast, and his name was Flip Flap Jack. And then he danced upon the table.
On the table?
On the table. He danced upon the table, and his name was Flip Flap Jack. The end. One day, Mr. Wolf was feeling hungry. He decided to make some pancakes. Yum, yum, he said, licking his lips at the thought of a big pile of fresh, delicious pancakes.
Mr. Wolf had never made pancakes before, so he took his big recipe book down off the shelf and looked inside. But wolves don't read very well, and Mr. Wolf had trouble understanding it, so he went to get some help from his neighbors.
He called on Chicken Little, who lived next door. "Can you please help me read this?" he asked. "No," said Chicken Little, slamming the door in Mr. Wolf's face. Bang! "Oh dear," sighed Mr. Wolf. He sat down, slowly read the book, and worked out what he needed, all by himself.
Mr. Wolf looked in his cupboard for the ingredients, but he couldn't find anything he needed. "I'll go to the store," he decided, and settled down to write a list. But wolves aren't very good at writing, so Mr. Wolf called on Wee Willie Wingle.
"You're very clever," said Mr. Wolf. "Can you help me write my shopping list, please?" "No," said Wee Willie Winkle. "Go away." He slammed his door. Bang! "There's no need to be like that," said Mr. Wolf quietly.
Mr. Wolf sat down and worked very hard at his writing until he had made his shopping list, all by himself. Now he needed to count his money to make sure he had enough. But wolves aren't very good at counting, so he went to the gingerbread man for some help.
"Can you help me count my money, please?" he asked politely. "No, I'm too busy to bother with you," said the gingerbread man, slamming his door. Bang!
So poor Mr. Wolf had to sit down and count his money. It took him a long time, and he had to check it 3 times before it was right. But he did it, all by himself. Mr. Wolf needed a basket to carry his groceries, so he called on Little Red Riding Hood.
"May I please borrow your basket?" he asked very nicely. "I'm not lending my basket to you," said Little Red Riding Hood. "Get out of here." So Mr. Wolf set off to the store without a basket. "I'll manage," he said.
Mr. Wolf went to the store. He looked at his list, remembered what he needed, counted out his money, and carried the eggs, milk, and flour home, all by himself.
Now it was time to make the pancakes. But wolves aren't very good at cooking, so Mr. Wolf called on the 3 little pigs. "Can you help me make my pancakes? I'll share them with you," he said kindly. "Forget about it," chorused the pigs, slamming their doors. Bang, bang, bang! Mr. Wolf felt sad because nobody wanted to help him.
Mr. Wolf went home and started to make pancakes, all by himself. Soon there was a huge pile of delicious pancakes on the table, all ready for eating. Now, as Mr. Wolf had been making his pancakes, a lovely smell had drifted out of the kitchen. All his neighbors could smell it, and it made them feel very hungry. They wanted some pancakes too. They decided to try their luck.
So they knocked on Mr. Wolf's door. "Give us some of your pancakes," said the rude bunch. "Why should I give you any?" said Mr. Wolf. "Not one of you would help me." "We'll help you eat them," replied Mr. Wolf's neighbors nastily. "Anyway, we're not going away until you give us some."
Mr. Wolf thought very hard for a moment. There was only one decent thing to do. "Oh, very well then," he sighed. "You had better come in." Mr. Wolf opened the door wide, and whoosh! His greedy neighbors rudely pushed him aside and dashed down the hall. Mr. Wolf shook his head, shrugged his shoulders, and followed them into the kitchen. And when they were all in,
Mr. Wolf gobbled them up, snippity snappity, and that was the end of his unhelpful neighbors. And then, with his bulging stomach still not full, Mr. Wolf sat down to eat his pile of pancakes, and he did it all by himself.
well, there was nobody else around. The end.
Hello and welcome back. I hope that you enjoyed those delicious pancake stories.
Yes, and as always, we will have an awesome curbside craft for you this week, all about pancakes. So you can come pick that up anytime this week. We have the supplies here. Don't have to have a library card, totally free. You can come inside the building or call us from the parking lot and we'll bring it out to your car. And Miss Cami has an instruction video going up tomorrow about that. So we hope that you enjoyed this delicious week of virtual story time. Have a good one, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.